And in his dressing room live is Rocky Juarez in a bygone area. Juarez would have been known as an honest fighter, a well-schooled professional who could be counted on to always perform to the best of his abilities. What's frustrated Juarez is that his best hasn't been quite good enough. At the 2000 Olympic Games, he fell just short in the gold medal match against Humberto Soto in an interim title fight. He lost by the slimmest of margins. The same thing happened in a title fight with Marco Antonio Barrera. He'll almost surely fight well again tonight, but will he find that little extra that'll make him a world champion? The 126 and 130-pound weight classes have proven to be the toughest testing grounds in boxing today. Here, careers are made, reputations forged, and legends created. Emerging from these tough battlegrounds is Juan Manuel Marquez. Despite winning 47 bouts and beating 8 past, present, and future champions, Marquez's accomplishments cannot be captured by statistics alone. Against Manny Pacquiao, he rose from the canvas 3 times to earn a draw. In his last bout, he beat Marco Antonio Barrera to win the WBC super featherweight title. Tonight, he could further solidify his status by being the first to ever stop Rocky Juarez. Entering the pros with an Olympic silver medal, Juarez has won 27 fights, but is 0-2 in title bouts, losing twice to Barrera. Their first fight was a closely contested battle that was initially declared a draw, although many believed Juarez won the decision. But matters only got worse for the Houston native. Minutes after exiting the ring, the commission discovered a scoring error, changing the draw to a Juarez loss. Tonight, Rocky Juarez must overcome the odds to finally achieve his goal and win his first world title. Well, when 5 or 6 pound-for-pound type fighters gather in the same weight class, fans can expect a handful of memorable matchups. That's what's happened in arguably boxing's best division. Tonight, Rocky Juarez attempts to join the inner circle against world champion Juan Manuel Marquez. Al?
You know, the analogy I would make in the featherweight and super featherweight division is that it's kind of like Mount Rushmore, except for the presidents. Let's put up there the pictures and the chiseling pictures of, Pacquiao, Barrera, Morales, and most recently chiseled in there Juan Manuel Marquez. It's just been a golden era for boxing in that division. And now Rocky Juarez at 27 and a couple of other young featherweights like Robert Guerrero feel that maybe they can usher in a new era. And that's what Rocky Juarez would really like to do tonight by beating Juan Manuel Marquez.
All right, so we are gearing up for tonight's main event between Juan Manuel Marquez and Rocky Juarez. But first, we want to remind you, Fernando Vargas versus Ricardo Mayorga, originally scheduled for September 8th, is back on and fueled by an intense dislike for each other. Well, the wait is over, and they'll get it on Friday, November 23rd.
I'm going to give you this one last opportunity for you to be able to collect a check, and thereafter a pension check, because I'm going to retire you from boxing.
This will be my last fight. I do it for one reason and one reason only, and that's pride.
I'm going to do your wife a favor and not let her cry anymore after they disfigure every time that you go into the ring.
We should have sold tickets to this.
With personalities more colorful than their national flags, the 2 reigning bad boys of boxing, ferocious Fernando Vargas and Ricardo El Matador Mayorga, are about to wake the world of boxing with a fight that can only be named The Brawl. Both have won world titles. Both have earned reputations for their combative attitudes inside the ropes and their outlandish behavior outside the ring. But despite their similarities, Vargas and Mayorga share a genuine and unconcealed hatred for one another.
Why so much hostility between the two of you?
You know, I made it a street fight. He wants to make it a street fight. We can make it, but I'm an intelligent fighter. He's a stupid ass.
He looks like my son's ass, a little nice and round right now.
He was the first one to say that he was going to retire me so my wife wouldn't be crying every time that they leave my face like a monster. And I said, what about your face? What about your face, the way they leave your face, you jackass?
These 2 bad boys, originally scheduled to come together on September 8th, will now settle their differences in the ring on Friday, November 23rd. They meet not for a title, but for the sheer desire to fight. Also coming up on the Showtime Sports calendar, mixed martial arts returns November 10th when Elite XC presents Nick Diaz versus KJ Noons in a championship main event. And internet fighting legend Kimbo Slice makes his Elite XC debut. November 16th, Showbox comes to you from the Caribbean island of St. Lucia. The main event features unbeaten super middleweights as Olympic gold medalist Andre Ward squares off with Roger Cantrell. November 23rd, Showtime pay-per-view presents a clash of former champions and bitter rivals, Fernando Vargas versus Ricardo Mayorga. Showbox closes out its year on November 30th with a return appearance of hard-hitting unbeaten junior middleweight James Kirkland versus Alan Conyers. December 1st, Showtime Championship Boxing features world champion Vernon Forrest and former world champion Antonio Tarver in co-main events. Also on the card, newly crowned flyweight champ Nonito Donaire. And December 7th, the future stars of mixed martial arts are back in action on Show XC Elite Challenger Series as we feature rising British star welterweight Paul Daly. And we invite you to check out Show Sports on Show 2.
Amazing knockouts, heated rivalries, epic battles. You've seen it on Showtime. Now see it again on Show Sports Presents. Every night, Monday through Friday at 10, only on Show 2.
And we hope you can join us for all the upcoming action here on Showtime Sports. Coming up next from the Desert Diamond Casino in Tucson, the main event, Manuel Marquez and Rocky Juarez for the WBC Super Featherweight crown. For both these fighters, the road to success hasn't been easy. Al Bernstein elaborates.
The career of 34-year-old Juan Manuel Marquez has suffered some dubious setbacks outside the ring in the always mercurial business of boxing. His only two setbacks in the ring have been equally vexing, close, hotly disputed decisions. His opponent Rocky Juarez has also suffered that fate. Here are the X's and O's on how they both hope to avoid that tonight. For Marquez, the body attack is always important, and it will diminish Rocky's lateral movement. Not advisable to get into a hooking contest with Juarez. Show the hook, but don't rely on it. Juarez leans in and can be hit with an uppercut, and Marquez can throw this punch. One uppercut can change this match, as it did for Marquez against Marco Antonio Barrera. It worked so well in this sequence as he dominated Barrera that he would use it again. This could be a very important punch in this match. Juarez has a good jab, but sometimes he uses it too little. Needs to use it often. Good combinations tend to freeze Marquez. He'll counter a single shot, but not combos. At the end of the day, the Juarez power comes from the left hook. When Barrera missed with this jab, Juarez was ready to counter, and he would use the big left hook. This scenario could be repeated often tonight.
Which leads us back to our text message poll. Our question once again, who will win tonight's main event? If you think Juan Manuel Marquez will win, text the number 1 to SHOTV. That's 74688. If you think Rocky Juarez will take it, text the number 2 to SHOTV. That's 74688. Standard text messaging rates apply. Easygoing, low-key Rocky Juarez, a proud Houstonian who says he wouldn't take on a big challenge like this if he didn't think he could win. He steps in for Jorge Barrios, scratched because of detached retinas. Lots and lots of pressure on Rocky to win. A victory would not only bring the elusive belt, but would erase the stain of his losses to Marco Antonio Barrera. He could also say he beat the man who beat him twice. That's right. No question he's ultra motivated, Al. He realizes the urgency, yet he remains very cool and composed.
You know, that demeanor some say is both his strength and his weakness. It's very good because it allows him to perform in these high-pressure situations. But some people believe it also makes him not understand the urgency of really going all out in fights. And he made it a point to say tonight he'll throw a lot of punches and be very aggressive.
Yeah, sometimes a little too relaxed when not being hit with power punches, but he said he's going to step it up tonight. Rocky came up with Juan Diaz in Houston. As he hears it from the crowd, it was supposed to be Juarez getting that first title, not Diaz. Rocky is reminded of that almost every day when he trains alongside the Baby Bull in the same gym. Will tonight finally be Rocky's night to celebrate? Estimated 24 million television viewers are tuned in to Juan Manuel Marquez in Mexico. Clearly the crowd favorite here. But that is how popular he has become south of the border. The courageous fight with Pacquiao, the win over Barrera, and Marquez finally recognized as a highly gifted champion with a warrior heart. Also, huge interest in the Philippines. Does he want Manny Pacquiao again? You bet. Does Pacquiao want him? That's the question. Speaking of questions, is that infected cut on the knuckle of his right hand fully healed? Will the scar on his forehead be a factor? And what about Father Time? He's now 34 with 51 fights. Despite these potential issues, Al, he is supremely confident.
He says he's a young 34. He believes he's in his prime. He thinks he can dominate still in this division.
Marquez and Juarez waiting nearly 2 extra months for this moment. They can't wait for that opening bell. Let's size them up as we check out the tail of the tape. The numbers of most significance: age, Juarez 7 years younger than Marquez. The height and reach nearly identical. And at yesterday's weigh-in, both came in under the 130-pound limit. Marquez 128, Juarez 129. Both just look so carved. And the key unified rules for this world title fight: no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt causes a fight to end within 4 rounds, it's a no decision. After 4, they go to the cards. And if a punch causes a cut, the injured fighter can't continue. He loses by TKO. So here at the Diamond Center in Tucson, Arizona, we are getting ready for Juan Manuel Marquez versus Rocky Juarez for the WBC Super Featherweight Championship. Let's get the official introductions from our ring announcer, the classy Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to Desert Diamond Casino here in Tucson, Arizona for the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Golden Boy Promotions, Romanza Boxing Productions, and Showtime. Sponsored by Nemiroff and Tecate Cerveza with an Attitude. This bout is sanctioned by the WBC President Jose Suleiman. Supervisor is Bismarck Morales, along with the Arizona State Boxing Commission. The chairwoman is Mary Rose Wilcox, and the commissioners Richard Saunders and Lionel Ruiz. The executive director is John Montano. Our physicians at ringside, Dr. Joel Monsivais and Dr. Andrea Herbert. Timekeeper at the bell, Martin Dominguez. Keeping count of the knockdowns is Ray Scott. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you our 3 judges scoring from ringside. From Reno, Nevada, Bert Clements. From Rouen, France, Robin Dolpierre. And from Phoenix, Arizona, Chris Wilson. Presenting our 3rd man in the ring, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions. From Tucson, Arizona, Bobby Ferrara. All right, fans, here we go with our main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Super Featherweight Championship of the World. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Desert Diamond Casino in Tucson, Arizona, it's showtime! Introducing Introducing to you first, the challenger. On my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red trunks with green trim, fighting out of the north side of Houston, Texas. He weighed in at 129 pounds. His record stands at 27 wins, 3 losses, with 19 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the 2000 U.S. Olympic silver medalist, currently ranked at WBC number 4 super featherweight in the world. Please welcome the challenger, introducing Rocky Juarez. And his opponent across the ring on my left, the defending world champion, fighting out of the red corner, wearing green trunks with red trim, hailing from Mexico City, Distrito Federal, Mexico. He weighed in at a trim and ready 128 pounds. As one of boxing's great world champions, his record stands at 47 wins, 3 losses and 1 draw, with 35 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former featherweight world champion and the current WBC super featherweight champion of the world, introducing Juan Manuel Marquez. Once again, a referee in charge, Bobby Ferrara, now to give instructions.
Juan and Rocky, we went over the rules in the dressing room. You know I expect a clean fight from both of you. Trunks are good here. Anything here is going to be low. Anything here is going to be low. Protect yourselves at all times. Touch them up, go back away for the bell. Touch them up. Touch them up.
And our text voting results, how about that? Marquez 64%, Juarez 36% to the question, who will win tonight's main event? And already a little drama there after Bobby Ferrara's instructions. Neither wanted to touch gloves.
Interesting, because there has not been rancor between these two boxers, and they're both pretty classy in the way they approach this fight.
It's been very respectful throughout up until that moment. Marquez says people deserve a great fight. That's what they'll get. The champion, one of the craftiest ring technicians at any weight, said he's going for the spectacular knockout. Well, we already saw one tonight. Will we see another one here in the main event?
They're both slow, by nature, slow starters. We have this tiny ring, and they almost can't avoid each other really in there. And Juarez being more aggressive early in this fight than I think we would have anticipated, and using the jab very effectively.
And Al, as you know, both typically slow starters, though each has scored early KOs in their careers. Both excellent counterpunchers. If you miss, Marquez can be quite punishing. And Rocky did say he'll be busier. He'll bring back the left hook to the body. Not seen much in recent fights. He'll hit Marquez in the arms. He'll hit him anywhere. Here's that stiff jab by Marquez, the champion, in the green with the red and white trim. Rocky Juarez in the red with the green and white trim. Marquez has been more hittable of late. Keep that in mind. Perhaps the product of a change in style to be more fan-friendly, or reflexes, perhaps just age creeping in. There's the triple jab by Rocky, having no impact on Marquez. Marquez with the jab to the body. Marquez very diversified. Great uppercut. Stinging right. Vicious left hook. Excellent body puncher. And he gets stronger as the fight goes on.
You know, both men have been more offensive-minded here in round one than I think we would have anticipated. They've all already shown us a good variety of punches. And there's the jab again of Juarez. So far, he's got to be happy with that punch. It's been very effective for him. And let's remember that scar on the forehead of Marquez. Jabs could open up that scar into a cut as well with blood flowing in. There's the hook of Juarez.
And there is blood around the left eye of Rocky Juarez. And he's trying to brush it out of his eye.
And that had to come from a punch. They have not been close enough to clash heads, I don't think.
So already a little drama here in the opening round as blood streaks down the left side of the face of Juarez, and now Marquez using it as target practice. Back comes Juarez with a right hand that was blocked by Marquez, and things beginning to heat up early.
That could create urgency on the part of Rocky Juarez and make him even much more aggressive. There's the right again by Marquez. That is probably what opened up the cut.
The irony with all the concern about the scar on the forehead of Marquez, it's Rocky Juarez who has a cut situation. Juarez continues to come forward. The bell to end round one, and they'll immediately attend to the cut.
That's a headbutt. Yeah, headbutt. That's a headbutt.
It has been ruled, and we heard Bobby Ferraro say it. It's a clash of heads. What a shame. What a shame.
Get a towel, Stan. Get a towel. You need to put pressure on it.
Well, I theorized it probably wasn't because they hadn't been that close, but in fact it was. They will clash heads here, and this is what referee Bobby Ferraro believes caused the cut, and is in fact what will cause the cut as they move around each other trying to get better position. And then they will move in, and well, there's the cut already there, so clearly there was a banging of heads. There we go. There's the head that hits the left eye of Juarez, and there's no question that created that cut.
If a fight is stopped by an accidental headbutt before the end of the fourth round, it's ruled a no decision. So round two, scheduled for 12 for the WBC Super Featherweight Championship. Longtime cutman Ray Ontiveros tending to the Juarez cut, which is opening up again.
And here's the problem for Rocky Juarez as he tries to be more aggressive. That cut, of course, he would not lose this fight if it stopped within the first 4 rounds. But now he's getting whacked around by Juan Manuel Marquez. And part of that's because Juarez has become more aggressive.
Marquez is having his way. The hand speed is overwhelming at this point. Even as he backpedals, he's scoring Marquez with that great jab, that shotgun jab, 2-3 in a row, unanswered by Rocky Juarez.
You know, if you're Rocky Juarez, honestly, you want this fight stopped this round, next round, anytime before the 4th round, so that you can get a technical decision so that, you know, you won't have a loss.
Yeah, after the end of the 4th, they go to the scorecards. And right now, it's Marquez controlling the action.
You know, unless he can find a way to knock out Juan Manuel Marquez during these early rounds. But that cut is creating enough problem to give Marquez a little bit of an advantage. And Marquez, of course, fighting very well here in this 2nd round.
Very tough to score a knockout over Marquez. 2 of his 3 losses by decision, 1 by DQ in his pro debut. The draw, of course, with Manny Pacquiao. Now here's Juarez coming forward with the jab, sending Marquez into the ropes momentarily. Marquez, a rhythm fighter. Juarez said, my job is to get him out of that rhythm by applying a lot of pressure, but now he's got all kinds of worries with the cut.
They wanted Rocky Juarez to throw a lot of punches, not single shots. And so far, he's not been able to put his combinations together as much as he would like. And I'll tell you what else. We talked about slow starting, but Juan Manuel Marquez is picking up the pace dramatically.
And now Juarez being distracted some more by the cut as it comes streaking down the left side of his face. Marquez continues to land with that jab, and he jabs the left eye area to make matters worse. Now he goes to the body with the left hook, does Marquez. Bobby Ferraro cautions Marquez, saying a little bit low.
You know, Juarez, though, has kept his concentration in terms of still using his jab a lot. That's important for him.
Juarez missing with the right. He tagged him with the left, the combination. Didn't score. Round 2 in the books.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's it. It's fucking. No cambio. Va, listen to me. Yeah, look. You got to move in a little closer, all right? Look, you got to go combinations. You're looking for one shot. You're only looking for the hook. Forget the hook, man. You got to throw 3, 4, and 5 punches. Finish off with the hook. That's your last hard shot, okay? Now look, you use the jab, but then you got to get a little closer to him, okay? You're too far away.
In round one, a seminal moment in this match in which Juarez and Marquez blast heads, and it really was no one's fault. Juarez kind of came in on his own volition when he missed the left hook, and already the blood spurting out after his head blasted against Marquez. So that was a very bad break for Rocky Juarez. No one's fault, really, but it certainly dramatically altered the texture of this fight.
It looks like a pretty deep gash, and it's in a bad spot, Al, right over the left eye. His longtime trainer, Ray Ontiveros, doing the best he can with the coagulant substance.
And Ronnie Shields telling Juarez, and rightfully so, you need to put more punches together in this fight, not just throw single shots. And of course, that was their game plan coming in.
It's not directly over the eye, but it's sort of in a slant position over the left eye.
You saw the uppercut a moment ago by Marquez. He threw it from too far out. That's a punch he's really going to be looking for in the next round or so.
And let's see if Rocky heeds the advice of Ronnie Shields. You talked about he's got to throw combinations, not just the left hook. He's got to throw punches and bunches here, because as you pointed out in the keys, I believe Marquez not so quick to respond as well off combinations, right?
No, that's what freezes him. If you throw one punch, he'll counter you. But if you throw combinations, it stops when Marquez momentarily.
So let's see if Juarez opens up more and throws in volume. Just a jab by Rocky. Long right hand deflected. The Marquez jab is a thing of beauty.
They had Fernando Trio training with Juarez, a fighter who had worked for 8 years in the Marquez camp and had been under Nacho Beristain, the trainer of Marquez's tutelage. They thought he would help them in getting ready for Marquez. Right now, their big issue is that cut.
A cut that opened up right off the back in the first round. Beautiful body shot on left hook there by Juan Manuel Marquez.
That was a beautiful body shot by Marquez. Like his brother Rafael, he is a phenomenal body puncher.
And a good right hand by Marquez sent Juarez back. Juarez coming up short with the right hand. The counter by Marquez didn't get Rocky.
In this division, everybody judges themselves against the other icons, and Marquez wants to stop Rocky Juarez because Barrera couldn't do it in 2 fights, and that's really a mission statement for him this evening.
Yeah, Juarez able to go the distance 2 times with the great Barrera.
Of course, Marquez with a win over Barrera.
And that eye continues to worsen. The blood spurting. He is bleeding profusely. Wild miss there on a left hook attempt by Marquez. In attendance tonight, an interested spectator, Oscar De La Hoya on hand in a promotional capacity tonight. President of Golden Boy Promotions. His maiden voyage with Showtime, for years the face of boxing, a genuine superstar who transcends the sport. Going to be tough to replace when he hangs him up in terms of star power.
Okay. All right. So you can keep that bleeding down.
Listen.
The only problem we're going to have is the blood in the eye, so keep that bleeding down.
Wow. Yeah. Listen.
It doesn't extend.
No.
Yeah.
You got to keep putting the pressure on this guy. All right? You're not getting close enough to him, all right?
Yeah.
You got to get close to this man, all right? Come on, baby. Let's get close to him. Look. Now, look, when you do get on the inside now, you got to bang the body. Shoot the uppercut. Look, you're trying for one shot.
Juan Marquez is a terrific body puncher. Look at the leverage he got on that left hook. He threw himself backwards by throwing that punch. It landed perfectly, and he is just so good at that.
At the ringside physician, Dr. Joel Monsiváis, closely examining the cut below the left eyebrow of Rocky Juarez, but obviously they are raging on here into round 4. And this, of course, a key round because it is round 4. After the end of the 4th round, they go to the scorecard. Juarez got tagged with the left hand. Marquez missing with the right, and then came back with the other hand and got him. Here's that beautiful jab setting up the right hand by Marquez. Marquez showing us just about the entire arsenal as he usually does.
And, you know, we talked about combinations. It's really been Marquez who's been throwing more punches together. Look, there's a 2-punch combination. Before that was a 2-punch combination. Rocky Juarez has got to let his hands go. And this, if there is a knock on Rocky Juarez and a recurring criticism, it is that he's just a little bit too preoccupied with one punch at a time and a little too reserved in the amount of punches he throws.
So an early sense of urgency for Rocky Juarez. 27-3. All 3 losses by decision. 2 to Barrera, the other to Humberto Soto. Good block there by Marquez. Left hook try by Juarez.
You know, his losses to Barrera, his second loss especially, it was the movement and the boxing of Barrera that befuddled Juarez. In some ways, that's bothering him here tonight. Even though Marquez isn't giving him lateral movement, it's the quick hands of Marquez that are giving Juarez a problem.
Much of that blood is going around the eye, but some of it is going into the eye as well of Rocky Juarez, and it's got to be a major distraction. Well, they rang the bell with a minute to go, an inadvertent bell, Al. The round only went 2 minutes. They were off by 60 seconds. The man who rang the bell, signaling to Bobby Ferreira, keep it going. It's too late. Says it's too late. Oh, my goodness.
Stay on top of this guy, right? Now look, you hurt this guy when you throw combinations, all right? Not one shot. It's got to be combinations, okay? Work like you've been working in that gym, man. You've been working your butt off. Now you got to keep working. You got to do it in here, okay? You got to do it in here. All right? You got to do it in here. You want some more water? Yeah. Give me some more water. Give me some more water.
After the 6, you start throwing a little harder. Don't knock him out. Don't knock him out right now. This is the 5th round. Just keep with the pressure right now. Don't go to the ropes. And when you're there, take care of him. Let him get a little desperate. The combinations, you keep going with the jab, and let him get desperate.
Well, a little prematurely, we enter round 5. Well, with the bell ending round 4, albeit early, this fight's official, and a no decision result of an accidental headbutt is out of the question. They now go to the scorecards, and Rocky Juarez is in deep trouble.
Well, if you're looking for signs, that shows how badly things are going for Rocky Juarez. Didn't even get the full measure of round 4 when the fight could have been stopped. So very difficult night for him so far. He's going to have to turn his fortunes around dramatically. And the way for him to do that is to not just use that jab, but to follow up with something behind it. He's throwing the jab, but nothing is coming behind it.
And you know your luck is not going your way when you don't even get a full round. Round 4 was not a 3-minute round. It was a 2-minute round. An eagle with the flags of Mexico and the United States on the back of Rocky Juarez as Marquez continues to come forward. The cut opens up once again.
And that is really, really dripping blood. And Marquez, being an accurate puncher, one of the most accurate punchers in boxing, you know he can target that cut. And it's creating a monstrous issue for Rocky Juarez. Now there's a 2-punch, 3-punch combination by Juarez. He needs a lot more of that, obviously. And you know,
while cut there by Juarez that connected.
And that's his punch. If he's going to turn this fight around, it will be with the left hook. So he needs to really crank that punch up and try it.
Unofficially along press row, our scorer is Norm Fraunheim of the Arizona Republic, Bruce Pasco of the Arizona Daily Star, and Salvador Rodriguez from the Ario Deportivo Record.
Now, I gave the first round to Juarez, so I have it 3 rounds to 1, 39-37 for Marquez. There's the uppercut on the inside by Marquez. The more Juarez languishes in there, the more likely we will see that uppercut from Marquez. You know, we can talk about the cut all we want, but Juan Manuel Marquez, 34 years of age, lots of fights, plenty of wars, he looks sharp.
And he's taking his time. He's not rushing matters. He's not hurrying. He's doing what he has to do. He's jabbing. He's accurately punching to the damaged area, which continues to get worse for Rocky Juarez. You can see him blinking over and over now. Give him credit. He's showing a lot of heart and a lot of resolve.
And right there, you know, there's a slight change here in Juarez's demeanor. He's throwing some combinations in this round. Didn't win the round, but he's giving himself a chance.
And he just landed a left hook to the midsection, did Juarez. Marquez missing just before the bell with the right hand. But the blood continues to flow.
Listen to me now. Look, you got a bad ass cut, okay? Now look, you behind in this fight, okay? Look, you behind in the fight, okay? You got a real bad cut. Now you got to step up, okay? Give me a drink. You got to step up now, okay? You got to get.
And how will he step up? Well, the left hook will have to be a component in how he does it. Now there, very good left hook by Juarez over the right hand, but here's the key thing. It did no damage to Marquez, and that was a really good left hook. Still, it's the punch Juarez needs to land.
Okay? Come on. Come on, you got to knock his ass out, okay? Yeah, take the water, take the water.
Couldn't be more plain and clear from former welterweight contender Ronnie Shields, the trainer of Rocky Juarez. That is one nasty cut. You gotta knock him out. The final words of Ronnie Shields.
And of course, the irony is that cut was not caused by a punch, caused by a clash of heads, but once we got past the 4-round limit, that became a moot point. And Rocky Juarez with yet another disheartening bad break in a world championship match. And his other loss was in an interim title against Humberto Soto, a very close decision loss. So these big moments in his career have, it seems, always are marred by something.
But Rocky fights on in the spirit of his namesake, named after Rocky Marciano. Rocky is on his birth certificate. Ricardo Rocky Juarez is his name. Even has his son named Rocky. Less than 2 minutes remaining, round 6, scheduled for 12 for the WBC Super Featherweight Championship. A cut over the left eye of Rocky Juarez from a clash of heads in the very first round, making this dramatic very early. Beautiful triple combination with the left hand by Marquez.
These Marquez boys know how to fight, don't they? I mean, and they know how to throw to the body. And Juan Manuel Marquez is showing us a complete arsenal here tonight, as he always does.
Juan's brother Rafael back in Mexico watching this on television. Very difficult for each brother to watch the other one live.
You know, Juarez is landing some very nice left hooks now. And he's actually fighting better, Steve. He's done better in the last 2 rounds. The problem is, better still isn't quite good enough in this fight.
Juarez sent back off a couple of left hooks by Marquez. Juarez now going to the body with a combination, but having little or no effect on the champion. Left hook off the top of the head of Juarez by Marquez. Marquez now with the right hand to the body, a combination to the head, and he is scoring at will.
See, there's Juarez with a couple of punches in a row, and he's been doing that more in the last couple of rounds, but Marquez's offense has just been more dynamic.
And the problem is, when you miss against Marquez, like right there, you're going to get hammered. He is so punishing as a counterpuncher, Marquez.
Always 2 or 3 punches from Marquez.
The Blood coming down the left side of the face, going over to the nose, to the right side of Juarez's face. Right-left combination by Marquez. And Rocky Juarez looks like something out of a Hollywood movie, a bloody mess.
Okay, now listen. You was winning that round, all of a sudden you gave it to him, okay? Now listen. Look, here's what we got to do now. Look, you got to face that adversity that's in front of you right now, okay? Sometimes you got to go through shit, right? You got to go through things sometimes in order for you to win. You understand? Now you're at that point right now. You understand? Now it's up to you. You got to dig down deep. You're throwing one shot at a time.
Here is Marquez going downstairs. First he starts things out with the jab, and then he will use that left hand. Three-punch combination, a left hook to the head, a left uppercut to the head, and the left hook to the body. And that, very impressive. And you see the combination punching from Marquez. That's been a recurring theme in this fight.
You gotta go through shit sometime in order to win. So this is what you're going through now.
Ronnie Shields is laying down the law. He's giving him the Newton Romney speech.
And I'm going to tell you something. You can't do better in a corner than Ronnie Shields. Not just because he's trying to get his spirit and his intensity up. He's mixing in also some specific technical advice. You can't do better than Ronnie Shields is doing in that corner.
And you can't do much better than that left hook by Juan Manuel Marquez. He is a respected trainer, Ronnie Shields. He knows about big fights. He lost a close decision once to Sugar Ray Leonard at the 1976 Olympic trials.
Now there's Juarez on the inside working and very effectively with the uppercut. The problem, I think, is we saw that great left hook land a couple of rounds ago by Juarez. It didn't move Marquez. He has to hope he can hurt him with something. Better beginning to this round in some ways for Juarez.
Round 7 scheduled for 12. Juarez missing. Marquez showing some terrific defense aside from the offense, of course.
A right hand that missed by Juarez, and there was the counter punching by Marquez.
Marquez still ahead along press row. This, of course, unofficial. A wide margin.
I've got him ahead by just losing one round in this match, Marquez, so I don't have it a total shutout. I've got him 5 points ahead.
Midway through the 7th, that left hook, there's a half hook, half uppercut by Marquez that connects. Almost everything thrown by Marquez is getting to Juarez, and Juarez missing there. Fortunately for him, Marquez didn't counter with the left hook.
You know, Juarez is cutting the distance between himself and Marquez, and when he's in the inside, Juarez is more interested in throwing combinations and hooks like that. Maybe part of the answer to this fight is to get on the inside for Juarez. The only problem there is he risks getting hit with the big uppercut by Marquez.
And if he does get on the inside, there's risk of that scar opening up on the forehead of Marquez. Wouldn't that be a turnabout?
Overhand right there by Juarez, and Rocky Juarez has had a better 7th round for himself. I don't know if he's winning it, but he's doing better.
Unless Marquez has just taken a bit of a breather, regrouping for the last few rounds. There's a beautiful left-right combination upstairs by Marquez, showing his hand speed. Is this guy really 34?
Yeah, he looks good, doesn't he? And he's been in a lot of fights over a long period of time, but he takes care of himself and he knows how to box.
He is in peak condition. A beautiful lunging right there by Marquez, and a left hand that got in. That left blocked by the right glove of Juarez.
Well, I'll tell you what, possibly one of the best Elite XC main events we've had on Showtime. Nick Diaz against KJ Nunes. That should be a terrific matchup. And the debut of Kimbo Slice, who's been a sensation on the internet. Now people will see him in action on Showtime Sports. That's next Saturday. Really should be an excellent matchup. Diaz and Nunes, very talented.
How you doing?
Good.
All right.
Listen.
All right. That's all I ask you, buddy.
Let it spin, let it spin, let it spin. Bucket, bucket, bucket. Bucket, bucket, bucket. Come on, spin it out. Okay. Now listen. Look. Both hands. I gotta have both hands, right? Look. You jab in your hand. You get him inside. You gotta tap his ass in the fucking corners or something. All right? Come on. You gotta get on top of his ass. Okay? Let both hands go. You're throwing one shot. Go to the body.
Now it's a tone of frustration by trainer Ronnie Shields. In instructing Rocky Juarez what he needs to do to dramatically come back in this fight, because he is way behind and he's got that nasty cut to contend with as well.
Marquez says he never looks at video of any of his opponents. He lets Nacho Beristain, his well-regarded trainer, do it, and Beristain tells him what to do, tells him about the style, and he executes. And so far he's executing beautifully tonight.
Yeah, he feels he's ready for anything. And Nacho Beristain, one of the great trainers out of Mexico, credited with changing the image of Mexican fighters from one-dimensional brawlers to tactical boxers with movement, and we see that in the Marquez brothers.
Juarez, when he's on the inside, has done better in this match, because then he lets his hands go. He rips those shots, hooks to the body and the head. But on the outside, interestingly, it's been Marquez controlling things.
Ronnie Shields has got to the point now where he said to Juarez, hit him with anything.
Juarez just landed a very big left hook, and Marquez was not bothered. And let's remember, Rocky Juarez is really a featherweight at 126. He's only had 2 fights at super featherweight, or 3 really, the 2 losses to Barrera, and now this one. So he's not by trade a super featherweight. Maybe doesn't have the power in this division.
And what a disadvantage as Rocky tries to rub the blood out of his left eye. I mean, he can barely see out of that left eye right now. He's basically a one-eyed fighter. And yet he continues, he tries. His blood also coming from his right ear. Oh, what a right uppercut by Juan Manuel Marquez.
That's the punch he's been looking for, and that could change this fight. It really could, even though it didn't immediately stop Juarez.
Rocky's been down only one time in his 30-fight career. All 3 losses, as mentioned, by decision. Can Marquez be the first man to stop Rocky Juarez?
But you know what's interesting about this? Rocky Juarez, for all the difficulties in this match, has not lost his technique. When he throws, he's throwing correctly. He's landed some good shots. It's just not good enough against Juan Manuel Marquez, so far anyway.
And you nailed it when you said the words, just not good enough. In a lot of big fights, that's been the case.
Beautiful hook by Juarez, a countering hook. And he needed that to stop the onslaught of Marquez.
Oh, beautiful counter body shot left hook by Marquez. Marquez looks like he's fighting angry right now. Great exchange there at the bell.
That was great, and let me tell you, that actually might have given Rocky Juarez a little confidence. Let's see.
Now we're in the fight. Okay. Come on. I got you. Let me have a one. Come on, give me a drink. Yes, sir. You're in the fight now. You got him where you want him at now. Look, nobody's giving up on you. You understand? So don't you get up on yourself. You understand? Yeah.
This was an uppercut in the middle of the round that you're not even supposed to land an uppercut from that far out, but Marquez did it, and look at how it impacted Rocky Juarez. From above, we will see how he split the defense of Rocky Juarez. Now, interestingly, Marquez had his way for a while in that round. Then at the end of the round, it was a firefight, and it was a relatively even firefight. There were some punches landed by both men. Juarez did some good, so did Marquez. And you heard Ronnie Shields saying you're in the fight now. Well, he's kind of in the fight.
Are we seeing a subtle change here? We'll soon find out as we enter into round 9, scheduled for 12 for the WBC super featherweight title. Juarez with more confidence now, as you pointed out, at the end of that last round. And he seems to be showing it here at the beginning of the 9th round.
And I don't care what happens in this boxing match the rest of the way. You have to give Rocky Juarez credit for fighting through that terrible cut, fighting one of the most skilled boxers on the planet, and not giving up on himself, not losing his technique, and hanging in there. And he's done all of that.
Oftentimes, even in defeat, a fighter's stock can go up, and we are probably seeing an example of that here.
Left hook to the body by Juarez.
Although Marquez, for the most part, controlling the action. Unofficially, Press Row still has Marquez ahead by a wide margin across the board, 8 points.
And I have it 79-73 for Marquez because I gave the first round to Juarez and everything since then to Marquez.
And they've given Marquez every round.
Good body work by Marquez.
Rocky on the inside, and it's Marquez who connects with the left hook to the body.
You know, Marquez talks about managing fights. He said, I have to manage the fight in there. And that's exactly what he does. You know, he figures out ways to control portions of rounds, whole rounds, minutes of rounds, and the sum total is he wins.
And that uppercut is scoring more now by Marquez. It's finding an opening. Juarez, what a battler. Marquez comes forward.
I think in the last several years, Marquez has morphed a little bit into maybe a little more of a fan-pleasing fighter. He's always great, but he's been a little more offensive-minded. We've seen it certainly in this bout.
He had to, Al. He had to make himself more marketable, and it has paid off.
It sure has. Of course, that great performance against Pacquiao, even in the draw, and then the win over Barrera.
It may shorten his career a little bit, but it certainly made him very popular in Mexico. There's blood on the face of Marquez, but I think it's from Juarez's face. Good exchange there in the center of the ring. They go toe-to-toe.
Juarez lands yet another hook, but it doesn't move Marquez.
Boy. With two-way action here. Left hook to the jaw by Juarez here in round 9. As we approach 20 seconds left.
Hey, this is a good boxing match. It's one-sided in the scoring, but it's a good boxing match.
Yeah, there's been no lack of entertainment or drama, that's for sure. Left uppercuts, followed by a right by Marquez. Juarez trying to come back, missing with the left hook. The bell to end round 9.
Great. Wow. Listen, baby, I'm not giving up on you. I know you got it. You just got to put it together, okay? That's all you got to do.
It's the same size.
Don't worry about the cut. The cut is fine. Ray's doing a great job with the cut. Look, now it's up to you, all right? You got to go for broke with this guy, okay?
Rocky Juarez had some good moments in that last round. Wasn't enough to win him the round, that's the question. But you see the combination punching. That's what Ronnie Shields has wanted from him. And in the last several rounds, we've seen it more evidenced. But Juan Marquez, again, there's the uppercut on the inside. We talked about that punch beforehand in the keys. It's a wonderful weapon against Juarez, who tends to lean in and dip his head a little bit.
If you take a closer look at the right eye of Juan Manuel Marquez, it's beginning to close a bit.
Get that Vaseline off there.
A little too much Vaseline around that eye. And that perhaps could be a reason why Juarez has been able to score in the last couple of rounds more frequently. So the right eye becoming a bit of an issue here for Marquez.
You know, Rocky Juarez in the ring against two icons who have moved up to the super featherweight division before him, not able to hurt these fighters as much as he would like, although I think he did stun Barrera in their first fight several times. Maybe part of the answer here is this super featherweight division, especially against the Mount Rushmore guys, might be too much for Rocky Juarez, and maybe that featherweight division. And remember, he was supposed to fight Robert Guerrero originally.
How ironic that a guy named Rocky might not get to Mount Rushmore. Round 10. Let's see if Juarez can continue and pick it up some more. Ronnie Shields happier in the corner. Likes what he's seeing of late. Juarez coming forward. The jab not scoring.
There they almost clash heads again, interestingly. And one of the ironies is that we thought a clash of heads might open up that scar on the forehead of Marquez. It didn't. Instead, Juarez got the worst of it.
Well, Marquez told us yesterday in the fighter meeting it would be a factor because he wouldn't allow Juarez to get near him. That's confidence. Juarez missing with both hands. And Marquez showing his elusiveness. Body shot with a left hook by Marquez. Digging in.
He is a superb body puncher, and he's shown us this tonight. Marquez has done enough to win almost all these rounds, even the rounds in which Juarez has performed well in. And this is a perfect example of one of those rounds.
All you have to do is look at the left eye in the face of Juarez, and you can see the mettle of the man.
And again, it's the combination punching of Marquez, that has been the difference in this fight.
Swelling under the right eye of Marquez, causing that eye to close just a tad. Beautiful work by Marquez, setting up the right hand with a double jab to the body. Left hook to the side of Juarez's head.
And you know, you can't help but say, what if? And the what if is, what if that cut hadn't happened early in the fight in round one? What if he wasn't bleeding from the eye from a cut that wasn't from a punch? How much more competitive would this fight be? Because Juarez has shown flashes of excellence, as he always does. But that's a what if.
The right eye of Juarez beginning to close now. So this is almost a fighter who just can't see. Unbelievable.
Come on. Listen. Look, we got to go for it, Rock. Okay?
Duck in there. Let the duck in there.
The doc is here. The doc is here.
Same thing, Doc. You got to go in it.
Right. Look, you got to pick it up, baby. Listen. You got to go for broke, man. That's all it is. You just got to go for broke, man.
How are we doing?
Okay?
Bleeding in your eye now, Rock.
All right.
Huh?
All right.
Can you see?
Yeah.
All right.
Open them. Same side. Same side.
Let's see it.
Same side.
What do you think, Doc?
It hasn't changed.
Okay.
It bleeds,
all
but
right,
it's
can you
not.
stop that bleeding? Because it's going in his eye.
Wow. Come on, let's go, baby. Look. Wow, you just got to go punches, man. You just got to go for the knockout, man. You got to go for the knockout. Here you go. You got to go for the knockout, all right? Come on, baby. You got to go for the knockout.
They just can't get that bleeding to stop. The ringside physician there again. He said no change to Bobby Ferreira. And the fight goes on. I mean, some people might be saying stop the fight because he's so way behind anyway. I mean, he obviously needs something dramatic, a spectacular knockout here to win the fight.
Well, that's where it's up to the doctor to make the determination of whether that cut could create serious injury.
Yes.
You know, medically, he has to make that determination, obviously.
So this is really risky here now as far as the physical well-being, the future of Rocky Juarez. Let's hope this doesn't affect him down the road. A lot of people would say, stop the fight right now.
Well, and again, the doctor in there looking at it, doctor's going to have to make that determination.
I mean, I don't think he can barely see. Of course he's going to say, I can see, when Bobby Ferreira questioned him because he's a warrior. He's a fighter.
We may be reaching, as you point out, the point of diminishing returns for Rocky Juarez. And the key point you're talking about is future. Right on the eye. This is a 27-year-old who could walk in and fight for a featherweight title against anybody, including Robert Guerrero in his next fight. Or maybe even a rematch if they decided that the cut and the clash of heads dramatically affected this. So this is a fighter with a future, and maybe you want to think about protecting that.
I would say that if the fight was close, it was more competitive as far as the score was concerned.
It's a valid point.
Okay, you know, you could see them continuing, but I'm not so sure this fight should go on.
That's a valid point, and he's shown no signs of hurting Juan Manuel Marquez. So maybe by sending him out there again, the question is, could he even win by knockout? How could it happen?
I mean, I give Rocky credit for guts and heart and resolve, but wiser heads have to prevail here.
Well, he's still trying very hard, losing this round again as he has so many of the others. Still throwing good punches. It's just that they're not connecting solidly enough to make a difference against Marquez.
Rocky continues to march forward.
Break, back up.
I'm sure even in the mind of Marquez right now, he must be saying to himself, man, this kid's got guts.
Marquez was supposed to fight Barrios. They moved in.
Low blow by Marquez. Bobby Ferreira, he didn't see it.
That was definitely a low punch by Marquez.
Meanwhile, Juarez didn't even complain.
He's got so many issues right now.
Oh, my goodness. So you
down the list.
That's like the last of his problems, right? Left-right combination, uppercuts, everything in the book by Marquez thrown at Rocky Juarez. I mean, there's a big right hand at the bell.
That last moment was this fight in microcosm. A left hand landed by Juarez that was very good, and Steve, a right hand came back from Marquez.
Give me some water, give me some water.
Now they've got to stop this.
That's a bad, very bad cut. Wow.
Same size, Rock. Same size. We just bleeding. You got 3 minutes, Rock.
Listen, 3 minutes. That's it, baby.
3 minutes left, brother.
3 minutes. Give me the bucket. Last round, Rocky. You got 3 minutes. 3 minutes is over, baby. I need power shots, Rock. Okay? Nothing but power shots. Okay? Give me the hard power shots now, all right? Look, Rock, just go for it. Just go for it. You ain't got nothing to lose right here. You understand? Look, you got 3 minutes. That's all you got left, all right? I need your heart and soul in this thing right now. All right? 3 minutes, I need power shots. All right? Let it spit, let it spit, let it spit. This is it, baby. Listen, I need it all. I need everything.
I think the ref, the doctor or the corner, somebody has to stop this.
You know what? I was loath to jump on that bandwagon before. I am now. It's just a cut that they can't stop.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
If there's a cut that you can't stop that's bleeding that much, I just don't know how you can let the fighter continue.
Plus, he's so behind. Yeah, it's clearly academic.
And you have to admire the warrior spirit of Juarez, but and we'll see. Maybe he'll make liars out of us and score a knockout here in this 12th round. It's possible, but unlikely.
And if you're Marquez, you should just stay away, don't you think? Well, even risk it here. I know he's also a warrior, and he's got that mentality, that combative spirit.
Well, he's using his boxing skills here. A very small ring, as we pointed out, only 17 feet, and you can tell Marquez is a little bit in his prevent defense here, not initiating a lot of the action,
as he should be.
And for Juan Manuel Marquez, as he closes in on yet another victory, he is really making a statement for himself as well.
History dictates in boxing that we have seen such guys as Iran Barkley, the late Diego Chico Corrales, looking bloodied and beaten, but coming back to win with late knockouts. Can it happen again? It sure doesn't look likely. But in boxing, anything goes, and Juan Manuel Marquez continues to have his way there.
Big uppercut on the inside by Marquez after Juarez had done some good work.
What a flurry. Now, missing by Juarez, Marquez looking as fresh as the first round.
And see, Juarez landed his own uppercut on the inside, and he has a good one. It just didn't have as much of an impact. And there's Marquez with a double uppercut. At 34, Marquez is making a statement for himself against a very, very good fighter in Rocky Juarez.
And the chance of Mexico ringing out from this partisan crowd here in Tucson, Arizona, in support of the champion, Juan Manuel Marquez.
Marquez, of course, campaigning for a rematch with Manny Pacquiao. He would like that sooner than later. Right now, they are the preeminent fighters in this division. Make no mistake.
It's Manny being Manny in a different sense, because you don't know if he's going to step up to 135 and fight Juan Diaz, or stay at 130 and take on Marquez again.
And either way, Marquez is making himself a marquee fighter who, against maybe anybody, can create a big payday.
Well, if Rocky's stock goes up in terms of heart and guts, Juan Manuel's stock goes up as well in terms of skill and technique. and just overall masterful, gifted fighting. A masterful performance by Juan Manuel Marquez, finishing with a flourish. Blood all over the face of both fighters. The crowd salutes these two, and Marquez hears it from the fans.
It was probably one of the more interesting blowouts that you're likely to see.
Yes. And Juarez, in almost Jake LaMotta fashion, could have said, "You didn't get me down."
Yep.
What a warrior-like performance by Juarez. And what a beautiful performance by Marquez.
And while I suspect that man would have won in any case, you have to wonder what would have happened had this moment not occurred in round one. This was a forever changing moment in this match, because Juarez would try the left hook, kind of move his head in. Neither man really initiated the clash of heads. They both just kind of pushed forward, and it created just a terrible cut over the left eye of Rocky Juarez in round one. So early in this match, and you have to wonder if that had not happened, how much more interesting even this match would have been. My suspicion is Juarez would have been certainly more competitive. Whether he would have beaten Marquez remains to be seen. That's Ronnie Shields encouraging him.
This is the very end of the fight, encouraging him to the bitter end.
And you know, Ronnie Shields did do a good job of keeping him in this fight, if you will, even if some might debate whether they should have stopped it in those later rounds. But Rocky Juarez didn't quite have enough to get the job done here.
It was all Marquez, that's for sure, in this fight. On his way to a 48-3-1 record.
We look back on this fight inside the ropes, and we see the combination punching of Juan Manuel Marquez. That was the big difference. That, and of course, an edge in power, and a very arsenal. Body punches, good straight jabs and right hands. Uppercuts were a part of it. There were the uppercuts and the left hooks to the body. Another uppercut that changed the fight. Yet another. We talked about that punch in the keys to victory, how much it would help Marquez, and it did throughout the fight. Great effort by this champion.
Let's get it up to Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the official announcement. Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Robin Dolpierre, scores about 118 to 110. Judge Bert Clement scores about 117 to 111. And Judge Chris Wilson sees the bout at 120 to 108. All three in favor of the winner. And still the WBC Super Featherweight Champion of the world, Juan Manuel Marquez.
So a lopsided decision for Juan Manuel Marquez, but a gutsy effort indeed by the challenger Rocky Juarez, who is unsuccessful in his third attempt at a world title. Marquez retains his elite status and his WBC Super Featherweight belt. Let's go up to the ring, and Jim Gray. Jim.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. They're putting the belt back on Juan. Juan, congratulations to you. If you could try this again in English. Tell us about the cut that happened in the first round and the accidental headbutt.
He's a headbutt, accidental headbutt, and my head break with a head of Rocky Juarez. It's an accidental headbutt.
Do you think it was a big determination in the rest of the fight because he appeared to be handicapped the rest of the time?
Yes, I have a great preparation. I prepared myself very, very hard for 4 months, and I feel very happy for this victory, and I want Manny Pacquiao.
All right, let's take a look at the headbutt and tell us from your perspective, and we'll bring Rocky Juarez in as well. Rocky, if you can look at this headbutt, tell us what you think happened here.
This is a headbutt, the headbutt, and the Rocky and me break the head back, and it's an accidental head back.
Rocky, this headbutt, obviously it affected the fight. From your perspective, how much did it change the course of this fight?
Well, a lot of times I felt, this was actually the first time I've been cut to a point where, I saw blurry, and I was never even hit. But when I went back to the corner, my coach told me that it was a pretty bad cut. And I knew from the get-go when I got the headbutt, I know it was accidental. He kind of put his head down, and we kind of put our heads down together. And it was an accidental headbutt, but it did affect me throughout the fight. And
how much did it impair your sight?
What it impaired, it makes you think. It makes you think a lot as far as keeping your right hand up. Your left hand up, blocking, and just hoping you won't get headbutt again. Because I knew once it was past the fourth round, if it had went to the scorecards, it could have been stopped. So,
were you aware that the fourth round was short? It was only a 2-minute round. The timekeeper made a mistake and rang the bell early.
I did. You can't never realize the difference between 2 or 3 minutes.
Would you like to fight him again?
Oh, definitely. I think this was a good fight. I think my cut had a lot to do with it. Marquez is a great champion, and I definitely would love a rematch.
How close did you come to stopping and quitting and saying I shouldn't continue?
What are you talking about?
How close did you come to telling Shields and your corner that you shouldn't continue?
Never at one point in the fight. I wanted the fight stopped. I've never had any of my fights stopped ever in my career to a point, even with the cut. So I was able to go on. The referee kept asking me if I was willing to continue, and I was saying yes, definitely. But it did distract me a little bit.
Did you think about stopping and running?
Well, we thought about it after the first round. Because it was really a bad cut, and we kept telling the doctor, look at it, we don't want him to get hurt, but he kept saying it was okay. So, he's a fighter. He didn't want to quit, so you got to let him go.
Thank you very much, Rocky. Tremendous courage in continuing tonight. Hope you feel better. You said you want Pacquiao, so are you going to get him?
Yes, I want. Yes, I want. I want to fight with Manny Pacquiao. He don't fight with me. And I want to fight with Pacquiao.
How about your forehead? You had the accident with the car. You hit the steering wheel back in April, and you had the headbutt, and somehow it held up. Are you surprised that your head did as well as it did?
Yes. I feel very, very good with my cut, and I think in a moment, que sí va a abrir la cortada.
The cut might be open, for a headbutt or something.
Congratulations to you. We look forward to seeing you. We'll see you with Rafael when he fights Vasquez in March.
Yes, thank you again. And again, I want to fight with Manny Pacquiao.
Okay. Here's another man who we bring in, the promoter tonight, who was named the promoter of the year, Oscar De La Hoya, the golden boy, Oscar. Manny Pacquiao, it's being rumored and talked about and considered that you might fight him. Same guy that Marquez wants to fight. Can you talk to that some?
No, Marquez Pacquiao is the logical fight. There's only one Mexican fighter left. Manny Pacquiao took care of Eric Morales. He took care of Marco Antonio Barrera, and now Marquez is the one who he has to take. If he wants to be called the world champion at 130 pounds, you have to go through Marquez.
But would you consider fighting him, or who will you fight? Because I know you would like to fight at least one more fight.
Well, as long as my career, I'm obviously going to make my decisions next year, first quarter. I am definitely going to fight. I'm not retired. Like I said, my last fight, it felt like a sparring session. Obviously, I wanted it to be a compelling and an exciting fight, but it wasn't that. But anyway, we're going to move forward, and the next logical fight that we have to have for the boxing fans is Manny Pacquiao against Marquez.
All right, Oscar, we look forward to having you back on Showtime. Good to be with you.
It is a pleasure, and we look forward to working with Showtime for many shows to come.
That's great. All right, Steve, back to you now.
All right, Jim, thank you so much. Let's see how the scoring went for our main event, Marquez versus Juarez. First, the official judges' scorecards, and a completely lopsided affair, Al.
Yeah, I had it a 9-point victory, and I think any of those scores are reasonable, even the 117, 111, because there were some competitive rounds for Juarez.
And our panel of press row judges saw it this way. Norm Frauenheim by 10. Same for Bruce Pascoe and Salvador Rodriguez across the board. 10-point victories. So a one-sided affair for the champion retaining his title, Juan Manuel Marquez. Another case, and we've had this a number of times this year, of a non-competitive, entertaining type affair.
Yeah, it sounds like an oxymoron, but it's really not, because it was very interesting to watch all those dramas play themselves out, and Rocky Juarez continued to fight, and with some effectiveness throughout, but Juan Manuel Marquez was too much for him.
And where does this leave Rocky Juarez? What happens to him from this point?
I think Rocky Juarez has an interesting dilemma. He's lost to a couple of icons. He had a very close loss to Humberto Soto. It may be that the featherweight division is the place for him. And he was supposed to fight Robert Guerrero, and don't we all ask ourselves, wouldn't that be an interesting fight? Rocky Juarez and Guerrero. I'd love to see that.
And speaking of interesting, that was some spectacular way to open up the show tonight.
Robert Guerrero with a big knockout at a moment when his life, because of the illness of his wife, suffering in so many other ways, showed us the resolve and the concentration to get it done.
All right, Al, let's see how it officially goes into the books here in Tucson, Arizona. In the co-feature, Robert Guerrero, as just mentioned, fighting tonight with a heavy heart and a lot more on his mind than boxing, kept his focus and retained his IBF featherweight championship with a spectacular first-round knockout. And as you just saw in our main event, Juan Manuel Marquez solidified his pound-for-pound status, held on to his WBC super featherweight crown, as Rocky Juarez, although he showed great heart, was denied again in his third try at a world title. For more information on upcoming Showtime Sports' boxing and mixed martial arts events, we invite you to visit our website at show.com. That's SHO.com. That'll do it for this edition of Showtime Championship Boxing. We'll see you again December 1st. For Al Bernstein, Jim Gray, and our entire crew, Steve Albert saying so long from Tucson, Arizona.